Welcome to Contracting Conversations. My name is Scott Williams, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jim Valley. Today, we are talking with Kristine Kassekert, DAU's Learning Director for Other Transactions, about Contracting Credential 023 for Other Transaction Authority. Welcome, Kristine, and thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Kristine, to get us started off, can you describe in a general sense the Other Transaction Credential?
Sure. So the credential is comprised of 5 assets: 2 online courses that are led by an instructor, and 3 assets that students can access anytime they want on demand. The first of the on-demand assets is CLC 66, which is a 2-hour course on other transactions that'll be evaluated by a quiz at the end. The second and third assets are videos on specific issues related to other transactions. The first is the IP and data rights video, and the second one is pricing other transactions. These videos are really good, and there's no quiz that you need to take at the end. You do need to apply for the credential in CSOD in order to be able to access the videos, but it'll track that you've watched them there. And then, in order to finish the credential, you need to take 2 virtual instructor-led courses, CON 2880, which is a 2-hour class that's an overview of other transactions called Negotiation 101. And then the capstone project is part of CON 2990, which is a 2-day simulation course. It's a full 2 days where an instructor will walk you through from the beginning to an end of how to put together an other transaction, and then how to actually award and administer the other transaction. Now, hopefully what this is a flexible and practical approach for students to be able to use everything they've learned through the assets and then apply them in CON 2990.
All right. Thanks, Kristine. So it sounds like a very robust credential. And you mentioned 2 virtual courses. How do these fit together? Is there a particular sequence they should be taken?
So you need to have taken everything other than 2990 by the time you show up for class for 2990. It makes sense, right? Because the capstone should be the culmination of you being able to apply everything you've learned. But everything else, you can pick and choose how you want to take it. If I were going to do it, I would probably try and take CON 2880, the Negotiation 101 class, first, so that I had the overview, and then I would take the online training and watch the 2 videos. But there's no reason you have to do it that way. It's not as if there's some special key in one class that's going to let you learn something that you wouldn't learn otherwise in another. But 2990 is the capstone, so you have to take everything before you get there.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kristine.
Hey, Kristine, is there an overall assessment students need to complete to get credit for the credential?
It's that capstone presentation in CON 2990. So there are quizzes in CLC 66 and CON 2880 that we use as the evaluation assessment. But really the big thing that you'll walk away with that should be helpful is the capstone presentation in CON 2990. And that is tailorable. So if you come to 2990 and say you have a problem from your office that you think you're going to move forward with as an OT, you can bring that problem to 2990, walk out of that 2-day capstone, and have an actual item that you can go use on your job. Alternatively, we have a stock set of scenarios that we'll use for that capstone presentation, and you can join with a group to make that work for the capstone. But that's really the big culmination of what you've learned in the credential.
Okay, Kristine. So who do you see as your target audience?
The audience should be a very broad group. Now, it's CON 23, so we're clearly under the contracting group. But if we're doing this well, we'll be capturing information that anyone who works on a team in order to implement an other transaction will have information that they need to know. So while the DoD contracting groups, which is the vast majority of where our agreements officers are coming from, is the standard, we'd also like to see lawyers involved, program representatives, folks from finance, and our engineers and our lifecycle logisticians. All of these folks should be involved in the planning for another transaction, and being able to provide information for them about those options during the course training is important. But then bringing them into 2990 We will let teams who are working on a project come together as well. So if you're working on a team that's comprised of multiple functional experts, you can bring that team to 2990 and use this time to plan your acquisition using another transaction as well. But it's a broad group of folks who we hope to pull in through this.
Great. Sounds like a really neat course.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like a lot of people can get a lot of benefit out of this credential. That's a pretty good, big group. So overall, when should students apply, Kristine?
They should apply when they're interested in starting the credential. They need to go to the iCatalog. And on the iCatalog, you'll see a blue button that says apply. Don't wait until you've taken classes in CSOD to apply there. You need to apply, as I mentioned before, in order to gain access to the 2 videos that are part of a credential. But I also want to make it clear, you don't need to be a senior warranted contracting officer to apply for this. Anyone who's interested in learning more about other transactions, who potentially wants to implement an other transaction in their shop, or even really junior government contracting folks who are interested in learning more about other transactions should go ahead and apply and see what they can learn from this.
Thanks, Kristine. And what if we have a student who's in a situation where they've taken WSC 028 or WSC 029, those workshop formats of these courses?
So WSC 28, which was the Negotiation 101 workshop, is an equivalent course for CON 2880. And WSC 29, which was the 2-day simulation workshop, is an equivalent for CON 2990. So for any student who completed these, you can go to the DAU equivalency program description in the iCatalog. That will give you information about how to access your service representative, and you can request that they annotate the equivalencies in their service component registration system and management systems. You can click on the tiles on the iCatalog there for more detailed information about who to contact.
All right. Thanks, Kristine. I appreciate you coming to the show today to discuss this great OTA credential.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So if you're interested in taking CCON 023, the OTA credential, please look for the link in the podcast description below or in the iCatalog where information on these courses reside. That is all the time we have for today, but please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our Contracting Conversations channel, type any comments below to include your questions for discussions, and spread the word of this channel to your peers and to those you supervise or lead. Let us help you answer their questions. We look forward to having future contracting conversations with you.